Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to session number 196 at the Jan Mikilski Foundation Bethak. Our next session is Satish Gokhale in conversation with Archana Surana, and the session is on form, design, and function, leadership in society. Our evolving hybrid world demands a robust understanding of the new and transformative norms of designing. Keeping in mind the confluence of the digital and physical world, this is a crucial session that emphasizes on the role of far-sighted leadership, encompassing a deeper and more empathetic approach to both people and environment, keeping in mind a harmonious relationship between the planet and the human society. Satish Gokhale is the owner of Design Directions Private Limited, a graduate of the National Institute of Design. Mr. Gokhale is the founding member of the Association of Designers of India and has received several awards, including the Design of the Decade Award for a low-cost water filter, Tata Swatch, and the Lexus Design Award 2018, 19, and 2021. He also recently received a Red Dot Award in Germany and the G Mark, which is the Good Design Mark, in Japan for an indigenously designed solar-based computing device, Mobilis. He has successfully designed and launched over 700 products in the Indian and international markets. Archana Surana successfully carries a legacy of 22 years as the founder and director of the Arch College of Design and Business. She has established strong pathways in design education as well as mentoring through the Women's Mentors Forum. A widely traveled and noted speaker, she sits on various national and international forums of academia and industry. She is a Vital Voices Lead Fellow and a Yuva Icon Awardee at the hands of former Indian President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. May we please welcome the speakers. Over to you.
Welcome, Satish, to this very first session after the COVID outbreak and having JLF back in action with, visitors here, contributors, speakers together is a great delight, a moment of great delight. And together, 2 years back, with the Jaipur Literature Festival, we initiated the Fashion Colloquia, and that was on responsible fashion series. And this was the 10th in the row where India initiated this conversation towards being responsible within the design space. Today there is this conversation around design which is becoming very key over the planet. Business schools are talking about design thinking. Designers are talking about form and function still. We are talking here, we are going to be talking about leadership in society today. Where does design fit into leadership and the society at large? Today, design has moved on from the luxury products to the digital revolution to being more societal, where the world has now coined after the digital 4.0, today it's society 5.0. Now, what is this society 5.0? Have we designers tried to really distinguish? How would designers play a role in this ecosystem? How are we together going to create a better society? What would be the role of design when we have the form and the function? Is it all about the product or also about the service, or is it about the harmonious livability that's key to design? So with this whole thought process, we built the Pink City Design Confluence, which is a part of the design culture initiative initiated by the Arch College of Design and Business this year. We've got contributions from 10 countries. We've got 30 researchers who are presenting right now online with us. We have another 30 speakers in the next 2 days after JLF who are going to be speaking with us around, conversations around being into the metaverse, where we still are not able to fit into the universe well. So there's quite a dichotomy There's a conflict. We are in the VUCA world, the vulnerable, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. Within this space, I have somebody like Satish, who graduated years back from the NID. When people, not the industry really didn't know what design was. These were a handful of people who actually were people who believed in what they were doing and landed up to this institution. And the industry and the people largely, because I have a lot of other NID senior people who are there with me as my colleagues, say that it was a very challenging time to understand design. I have been into design education for 25 years now, and I still feel that people have no notion of what design can do and what design is. There is some touch points which people want to understand. But here today, we are going to probably figure out, the possibilities that design can bring. So I'm not going to be talking about the form and function, which you can have a lot of content on the internet. We're going to be touching points which would be largely to do with leadership. How can leadership evolve with design? And here we have Satish, who talks about 4 wins. If leadership is all about winning, what are these 4 wins? So Satish, I want you to throw light on this because I have heard you in our learning series where you talked about these 4 wins.
Thank you, Archana ji, and it's an honor to be here. I'm more of a doer than a speaker, so, okay. We always believe that there have to be 4 wins. All clients normally come to us, or, we are normally used to hearing win-win situations. But we believe that it has to be 4 wins or at least 3 wins. So who are the 3 winners? First is the client, the user, which is you and me, and the society at large. So whatever we designed, we normally try and take care of the society, the environment. And the 4th win is incidental. If your product is good, it gets recognized, you get awards. So that's the 4 wins. But our target is normally 3 wins. So we have to design products which have at least the 3 wins in it. And in today's day and age, we're living in a VUCA world today. Everything is uncertain. Look at what COVID has done to all of us. But as Archana ji was mentioning, governance is very important. I'm sure you all have gone through the Arogya Setu apps. Then I don't know how many of you know how COVID deployment of the certificates happened in the so-called developed countries. We were far better. Our Arogya Setu app was developed in a span of 6 or 7 days at the most, which is a huge site to develop. It's a mammoth work which has gone into it. And look at our certificates with a barcode. People are surprised when Indians go abroad and they see a COVID certificate, vaccination certificate with good barcode on it, whereas most of the developed countries have a handwritten certificate. So governance plays a very important role. Similarly, on the industry side, it's important that, we Indians, I'm generalizing, saying we Indians, we are excellent followers. That is where the problem starts. We don't believe in ourselves. There is a lot of talent which is, literally waiting to burst out now. Look at the kind of ecosystem for startups we have developed in India. A lot of things are happening there. Yes, there has been a slow pace, but it's just going to explode now. So it is important for the industry leaders to actually have an appetite to take risks. Karke dekhte hai, let's try it. I believe that failure actually teaches you much faster. And I don't actually fear of failures. And that's what has actually, helped us to move on projects.
Lovely. So you were talking about your inhaler, which was a 13-year-long project. So the timeline given to you was 15 years, and you completed 1.5 years early.
Yeah.
Would you like to share something around the experience of, creating that inhaler? Yeah.
Especially in healthcare, we always think whatever is made in the West is the best. And what we did was, we decided, a client actually believed in us, saying that we actually have a very simple and basic idea. But unfortunately, in healthcare, what happens, there's a lot of time required for trials and, compliance, patient compliance, and whole lot of certification. So all drug delivery devices or healthcare projects are long drawn. The minimum time, I would say, is about 3.5 years from a concept to launching a product. Whereas inhalers is even more complex because you actually have to study 100,000 patients to understand what is the efficacy of the drug. So when you inhaled a powder or a molecule, you need to know whether it's actually reached the targeted area, which is the alveoli within the lungs. A client actually said that the world leaders would take 15 years, so can we do it in the same time frame? And we got cracking and we got tremendous support from the client. I would say this was the first experience where the client believed that design can solve a problem. It is not just engineering solution, but the usability issues. How does a patient actually take care of when he's inhaling? So we ended up designing the world's most complex product in terms of mechanism. It has 27 parts not touched by human beings. It's a full robotic assembly. And I mean, the world leaders who manufacture most of the inhalers was surprised that a product from India can be so complex. But for the user, it is only 3 steps: open, inhale, and shut. So we actually ended up developing a product which has the least amount of human interface, and we also took care that you can't make a mistake while inhaling. So that's something very, very important. And we ended up designing a product which is the only product in the world even today which is friendly to a visually impaired person. How many doses are left? If your eyesight is good, you know how many doses are left because there's a marker. But what happens to a person who's visually impaired? He too can have asthma. So we ended up having a lot of patents, and our paper was selected in a conference called the Respiratory Drug Delivery Conference in Arizona, where I was talking to about 500 plus PhDs. I'm a diploma holder from NID, and I was talking about our entire concept, and they couldn't believe that a product can be so efficient. So the world leader is 30%, we've achieved 59. Just through 6th or 7th standard physics. That's something very important. So end of the day, you reduce the price of medication. So we are about half the price of the world leaders, yet 100% more efficient or 97% more efficient.
So I want to come back where you said, the whole notion about what is made in the West is the best. Now, how do, as Indians, because our pedagogy when it comes to design is largely borrowed from the West. And today we do have, evolved, but looking at mainstream education, design still did not get the kind of recognition which it should have gone as a mainstream education pathway much earlier. In fact, NID became the National Institute of Importance only a couple of years back when they started awarding degrees. NIFT became just in the decade itself, they too became degree awarding bodies, whereas they have been there for years. Now, what is truly important when you look at pedagogy, you look at education, what occurs to you that how India can create its own voice in design? Because as cultures, as I initiated that, we've brought forth this whole idea of a design culture that we want to build in the country. So why not start it from the school system, the primary school, the middle school, and then goes to the higher education pathways? People generally jump on directly to taking on degree or diploma education. That's after 12th. So we strongly felt that education needs to address that. But even today when we look at, largely the education seems to be a borrowed way. What comes to you when, with all your experience, how do you nurture this value, this culture of design, where even today design thinking is a borrowed concept from the West?
Yeah. So, okay, on one side, design thinking is just a term. We've been, I think, practicing this for the last, 45 years or so? I mean, so my first, it's not a grudge, but our biggest challenge today is starting from the primary schools. I mean, in schools, we were taught that this is how you solve a problem. There are n number of ways of arriving at the right solution, but you were not allowed to question. I don't know whether you agree with me, but in school, this is what the teacher teaches, this is what you write in the answer paper, others you fail. So that's something which needs to be changed. Uh, and in terms of, we have not been given the freedom to think individually and also as a team. But now slowly group activities have started. And, the fact is design or designing a product or any other system is not a single entity job anymore. You have to collaborate. I think that's something which needs to be taught much earlier, that it's not I, but it's we who are designing it. I think that will make a world of a difference, because you have to jump on people's different capabilities and their own domains and domain knowledge. And that's how you end up actually doing a better product. We have several examples where we're better than a lot of so-called developed country products today.
So
And
your
at a
water
much
drone, would you like to talk about that? That PM Modi was about to inaugurate the whole thing. Might be interesting as an example for all.
all the way through COVID, we actually developed a project with a client. It's a water drone which you deploy into a choppy sea if somebody is drowning or a river. So one option is just to throw it from a ship, or you've all seen Baywatch. There's a guy who's the lifeguard on a tower, and he sees some hands moving and somebody is drowning. You throw this drone, and with a remote, you actually take him right till the drowning person. He grabs him, and we grab him back, pull him back to the shore or to the sea. So we started designing this, and we studied most of our competition products across the world, and we realized that they all look, I'm sure you've seen a lot of WhatsApp videos where they throw something and with a remote you take it to the drowning person. But no one shows that what happens if the drone turns turtle on the water. So you've deployed the drone to save someone's life, and it becomes absolutely non-functional. So it's absolutely no use having a drone. So we are the first Indian company to do a drone, and also one of the first projects product which will self-right itself. And this is again 6th or 7th standard physics. So it works on the principle of buoyancy. So in fact, it was supposed to be launched by our Honorable Prime Minister 3 days back, I think, yeah. But some of the Defense Expo got cancelled. But I believe that, a lot of Indians have excellent thought process. It's just that it needs to be channelized and structured more beautifully. And that freedom of, trying to do it should be given to the designers today, I think. So industry has to, buckle up and get into that mode. I mean, look at some of the Indian successful companies. Most of them have their own designs today. I mean, look at Tatas, look at Mahindras, they all have their own design houses. So it's not that we just need to follow the West, is what I believe in. We can end up actually having products from India into the global market. So some of our products are sold to about 35 plus countries today.
Wonderful. I think that's really commendable. And, right from the Tata Swachh product, which was, again, true innovation in terms of having people even understand what is the importance of drinking water versus water being there. I think that's where I think your whole journey with respect to the importance of water started. Have I understood it correct? And understanding that there's so much that's happening in our country, still as a voice, we are not globally known for our design innovations. We are still looked upon as a developing country who probably not understood as, our brains would be taken there. The best would be, actually the brain drain is there. But why is that, Indians fail to speak about the design sense and the sensing and the sensibility that they have within them as being lesser than the Western understanding? I mean, there must be something that the West has, but where is that catch point, I mean, it's a mindset, it's a heart set that's required to believe that you're an Indian and your indigenous knowledge systems have a great value in the global market. They are the ones who actually learn from us, package it well, bring it back to us. So what is that thing that's occurring to you right now, if I say, that can really make a difference? And it has to be something very radical, because this cannot now go on as a very chalega, hoga, ho jayega kind of thing. India needs to really buck up, because we have a great advantage in terms of our demography. The youth population needs to really get on in terms of making this difference now. So where do you see, how are things shaping up? Because maybe I'm too close to the picture in terms of looking at the youth, but when you look at them from the industry perspective, where do you see the opportunity?
So I think the first thing what you mentioned is we are a developing nation. I think that's something which I take pride in. The minute you're saying we are a developing nation, that means we have a scope to do something and improve. The developed world, I would say, is stagnated. But one of the biggest disadvantage which we have, we Indians are extremely poor in marketing, whether you like it or not. Archana ji just mentioned that they'll buy the product from India, package it, and sell it back to India, which is actually happening. I mean, this shirt which I'm wearing, I bought in Italy and realized it's made in Chennai, but I bought it there. So only when I saw the label made in India, I actually bought it. I think we have to get our own confidence, saying that, we can go a long mile, we can actually walk what we actually used to preach earlier. I think that has to come in to the youth today. And again, coming back to the same thing, then have confidence that we Indians can do something better today.
Perfect. I think that we all need to applaud ourselves for that. And I think we are all sitting here because we believe in India. We believe in the tradition. Let's not take heritage as a word which was in the past. Any heritage, if it does not have meaning, will never sustain. That's very simple. It's going to fade out very soon. So a heritage is a living tradition that itself shows that it has a huge amount of significance and relevance in the present. And there are a lot of stories that we have that the world really needs to hear them. And this is where each one of us can be a contributor. And today, when the creativity has become such a, thing that is available to everybody, the iPhone, the internet, the social media has made every person creative. You are able to express yourself fully, which you didn't get as an opportunity in the past. So what would creativity mean in this new era? That's, again, a question that we need to probably look at, because that's what the whole Pink City Design Confluence has, the theme, which is form, reform, and transform. And we've tried to look at what Society 5.0 would mean, what Creativity 5.0 would mean. And if we are talking about harmonious livability, today when the world is at war, what is this harmonious livability all about? Have we made the world a better place with our design sensibilities or the innovations that we've done? Or is there something more that we need to do in terms of the creation that's required today? Is developed all about getting into conflict? Is it all about getting into power? Is it all about making a true difference? I think these are insights that are truly required to be addressed by each one of us. And how many of us are really thinking on these lines? Because design is not something that is right there in the book, because it is something that's completely future-led. There is no answer to it. No textbook can give you an answer to it, because there's nothing in the present that design addresses. It always addresses the future. So which truly means that what you said was the bandwidth to actually take risk.
Absolutely.
Within the governance and the industry. So I not to quote any company or whatever, I remember you talked about a product that really had the difference that it could create to India, but was completely, by the next leadership which came into it, actually stopped that project. Now, this is what happens in a country like India when there is a governance that takes over, there's another government that takes over, and all the initiative of the previous government goes into trash, right? What kind of design leadership is this? Do our politicians need design as an understanding? How do we evolve our governance, our own, right from the bureaucracy to our politicians to our industry? Or is it about the education system that needs to address it first, rather than making sure that the ones who are already there and conditioned in a certain way evolve themselves? So I think education definitely has a great role to play, and educators have a great role to play in terms of unlearning and learning new things, which can really shape this new future. And here with this conversation, we can take on a couple of questions from the audience, because we have some 10 minutes left which we can talk about.
I'll just make one more point, you know.
Yeah.
We should also actually not forget our history. I mean, look at all our scriptures, Mahabharata and Ramayana. What are Scud missiles and Patriot missiles? There are a number of countries just studying Sanskrit and actually learning our weaponry. Look at Ayurveda. I mean, today the world is packaging Ayurveda in a different form and selling it back to India. And I mean, things like haldi, aloe vera, we've been using for donkey's years. But we buy a 2% aloe vera cream for 300 rupees now. Whereas we actually grow aloe vera and, so we have to believe that, India has everything. How do you just, use it now? So history is very important, is what I think.
Very beautiful what you said. So when we work closely with these researchers, and we're doing right now with the Pink City Design Confluence, everybody feels that India is such a fertile ground for research because of the immense possibility and the diversity that is there in this nation. So I think, youth I see, because all of you who are sitting here are already evolved ones. There's so many outside of us who are still in that same old way, looking at marks, looking at the subjects, looking at passing, looking at degrees. I mean, what would that really get them? Would that really get them what we are looking as creating a nation of innovators? So do we, each one of us, have a role to play, rather than, that design has or educators have, in our own influence, our own surrounding, the influence where we have? We can bring in design. And the beauty that design is now no more confined to a product or a service. It's opened up whole new realms, every space, every corner. Here we have one gentleman here who is just joining us right now, Sanjoy, and who has embraced design. The fashion show that you're going to see in the evening. The moment you talk to the government or anywhere, अच्छा fashion show है, अच्छा नहीं, आप इसको textile लिख दीजिए. फैशन शो के नाम से नहीं, आपको कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला है. So there is such a taboo around so many conversations. And he was somebody who was so graceful to actually have a show, a heritage show with a fashion show. And that could really show the true connect between art and design. And where we have one another gentleman whose name was Mukul Goyal, whom we met yesterday, who's a great accessory designer. How he brings together art and design together. So there's a very fine line. A lot of designers think that art is different and commerce, the business aspect only is confined to design, the form and the functionality. Whereas people like me feel there is a beautiful, it's a hand-holding of art and design going together, where design really makes life bring beauty. Otherwise, हम रोटी कपड़ा मकान जैसे चीजें ही डिजाइन से डील कर रहे हैं. I mean, when we talk about only form and functionality, it's like roti kapda makan, the bare minimum necessities we are dealing. The moment we bring beauty into it, it elevates the experience of life. Our senses, that completely get into that whole experience of being fulfilled. So I just have here Sanjoy with us. So we have this book, the Design Learning Series. We have 16 top people from our country, design practitioners like Satish, Dinesh Korjan, Mahavir Sharma, we've had Binoy, Bhargav Mistry sir. They're all contributors, and we've compiled a book of it. So maybe we'll take his guidance to actually get this book out. Today we're just going to have the book launch. Bhargav Mistry sir, would you like to join us for the... And then we can take a couple of questions as well after. one is the proceedings, where we have 30 researchers. Khatija. For being a great ambassador of Arch and making it all possible for us to constantly contribute with the JLF. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I just wanted to say, a couple of years ago, I went to see the Arch Design Institute, and it was so impressive here in Jaipur because when you don't see a place, you only have a sense of what it can be. When I went here, I was so completely bowled over because I thought this was, a small design institute. Is a gigantomous, beautifully designed institute in Jaipur, which I would recommend to all. And to add to what Archana said, so why is design important and why is fashion and textile important? Because it creates jobs and it gives voice to the diversity of artists and artisans across the length and breadth of our country. And there's no way we can replace that without destroying the very fabric of our being and the essence of our being. So, Archana, thank you for making this design institute. I do hope that design and aesthetics is taught not just in higher education, but in education from the very beginning. So congratulations. Vijayji, thank you so much. Sakit, thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay. So we have a couple of minutes left with us. We can take a couple of questions as well. Yeah. We have Urvashi Varman, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. She's principal of Palace School. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am. This was a fantastic session. And I was so happy that you spoke about bringing the design culture down to the school level. That's really heartening, and we've had a few talks about it, I know. So, but I would also be very happy to know, especially with the key word called unlearning, which is going to be very difficult at the school level, to unlearn the marks bit and the exam bit and the time periods, first period, second period, maths, history, geography, and to tie it up with design and the design culture. So do you have anything in mind? What can be the way forward for this?
I strongly understand that it's not the students who need the unlearning. It's the faculty, it's the teachers, the educators. Because we have gone through a certain way of knowing and doing things. So it's the students are, what jisko hum kehte hain, kachi mitti hai. They are still raw, they are open, but we are the ones who are actually conditioned. So I think the unlearning has to happen first with the educators before we actually get to the, the student. Yeah.
I have a very different experience. When I was in school, this was, I think, class 8 or something, on our subboard we had this notice saying that students like to visit industries and see how paper is manufactured, how glass is manufactured. And luckily, Rotary International is very active in Pune, and most of the industrialists are Rotarians. I just loved the idea of, I didn't know how paper was made. So every Sunday for one entire year, I managed to see about 47 different industries within Pune, how drugs are made. Hindustan Antibiotics, the smell there. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to get into design. I loved how Eagle Flask used to make their flask, and coat it with a mirror finish. I saw float glass being done, automotive glasses being bent. We went to, then it was called Telco, not Tata Motors, how trucks were manufactured. They never used to make cars then. That inculcated an element of interest. I think schools should encourage, it's not just seeing YouTubes anymore, but going and actually taking the students, going and walking around with them in marketplaces. The sensory perceptions are important. The noise on the traffic, the smells. It's a very, very important element to become a sensitive designer is, I think these sensitizing elements are very, very important.
Lovely what he said, you know. So much that you really complimented to what I said, because educators can't give everything. We are as human as somebody else. We have our own limited understanding and perceptions. How can we build our students' perception is what is important. And for that, it's very important for us to expose them to various environments. And I think that's where the industry and seeing different kind of industries, visiting them, talking to different people, you know, that's key to learning, very much key to learning. And when we actually confine them only to the classroom, the subject, the, you know, the content of the chapter, I think that's where we miss out in actually having them get into the possibility of learning. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I'm a practicing architect, and I've been living in Dubai for the last 30 years. We graduated from India, from the School of Planning. While in my work in all these years, I want to make a small comment about Indian students who try to come. One of the biggest things I have noticed in my practice is the art of presentation. Art of presentation. Ideas are great. Conveying those ideas are not great. And that is something we really need to look at. I have seen collaborations with various people, especially when we talk about design, we talk about Italy a lot. And I want to make a point, the education system till class 10, 12 is as rigorous as ours. They have no bandwidth when they talk about design. Design comes into their lives much, much later also. But what I'm trying to say is the art of presentation and the art of opportunity. Opportunity is great. I want to know how many people want to go to the IT industry because they are paid very well. How much is a designer paid? Bhaiya ye karke de do, free mein. How many people have this? I think regulation is something which people like you, need to bring into the industry. Thank you.
Very interesting, but I strongly feel that at least we should keep design out of regulation. Because you know what happens is, the moment, this is one space, the moment we start putting regulation, I know there are advantages and disadvantages to every choice we make. There will be certain goods that will come, there will be certain bads that will be tagged along with it. So we have to make a very conscious choice whether a regulation would actually make things better, or they can even in the, you know, make things challenging, further challenging for us. So I think most of the design creations have actually not addressed the consequences that could probably emerge out of those choices that we make. So yes, there is a point that certain areas, I think there has to be a very organic or probably maybe a very dynamic approach that one has to adapt to actually look at, because otherwise we're going to get in another conditioned way of doing things. So which might get into, but I truly believe that the art of presentation, that's where I say, you know, art and design has a great role, and they together make a great, you know, it's a great marrying of a great career. The moment the aesthetic, the art comes into place. I mean, an iPhone has an advantage because of the aesthetics that go along with it, while we have the technology there. But if they did not have the design aesthetics attached with it, somewhere it would not get that advantage there. So I hope that occurs well to you.
I agree to her point about presentation. We Indians are poor in presentation and marketing.
Wahi marketing,
You know, I've been a judge in the US for the IDSA Awards, Japan Design Awards, Singapore Design Awards, and the kind of presentation, the quality of photography itself is very different. I think it's time we'll need to pull up our socks to do that. I'm saying, including us, you know, I'm not saying, I'm saying we Indians as general will need to improve our quality of presentation, for sure.
You know, what my experience with students have been, why we not been able to, because when we don't believe in what we know, that's where we lose out on presenting that idea well. When we are always aping somebody else, किसी को copy कर रहे हैं, किसी का presentation style copy कर रहे हैं तो हम हमारे original कैसे बन पाएंगे? और हम उसको पूरा copy कर नहीं सकते, because नकल के लिए भी अक्ल चाहिए होती है, वो बहुत ज़रूरी है. तो मेरा ये मानना कि जब हम अपनी चीज़ में बिलीव करते हैं ना, हमारे प्रेजेंटेशन अपने आप अच्छे हो जाते हैं. अभी देखिए वो काचा बादाम, द इंस्टाग्राम थिंग दैट गोइंग ऑन, दैट गाय नोज हिज जॉब. वो कच्चे बादाम बेचता है, बोलता है कच्चा बादाम, एंड दैट हैज गॉन वायरल. And I think Instagram and these are spaces that have started acknowledging raw talent. And somewhere we need to appreciate that inner beauty that we all possess, and that is what we need to express outside, rather than again saying कि मुझे निफ्ट जैसा बनना है या NID जैसे design के presentations बनाने हैं. I think that's where we're going to get into another trap.
True.
So I think the originality somewhere gets, yeah. So we are all a wannabe culture, you know. Everybody wants to be like somebody, rather than we being ourselves first.
Absolutely, yeah. I think there's two more questions.
Yeah. Bhavani sir say, Bhavani Shankar sir.
Good evening, sir, ma'am.
Okay.
I have a question about startups. So, startups are all about problem solving in general. So, how is design really contributing towards the startup space? If you can give some examples.
Okay. So startups is not problem solving. They actually have identified a problem. So their journey starts by identifying the problem. So, I mean, one good thing about India is we are exposed to so many problems. I think that's one beautiful thing about India, that everything needs to be solved now. And luckily what is happening, now we're talking of governance as well, there are a lot of funding agencies who are mentoring and funding startups. So here design is going to play a very important role. So as a design company, we've got involved with, I think, 7 or 8 startup companies. So they would be actually identifying the problems, trying to solve through the engineering or healthcare or medical related solutions. But end of the day, the delivery is through design. So design is still going to be an important. So let's say it's a handheld, some scope. It could be a breast scanner or anything. End of the day, the designer's role is to create a product which is ergonomic, which is easy to manufacture, which is easy and safe to use. And it should be literally easy to understand, and the learning curve should be very less. It shouldn't become too complicated. The user shouldn't feel very, uneasy to use the product. So with startups, it's amazing how much knowledge. So half the things they talk, we don't understand most of the time. But we know what the end result should be. So collaborating with engineers, chemical engineers, doctors is very important. And designers are actually playing a catalyst role there. So in one of our products, there could be a chemical engineer required. A startup client does not know anybody in chemical. So that's how we try and get different domain knowledges together. So designers will actually play a catalyst role there.
See, the mentorship has a great, importance. I run a Women Mentors Forum. I was a part of the International Women Leaders Mentoring Partnership Program of the US State Department, Fortune Magazine, and Vital Voices is an NGO founded by Hillary Clinton. That's when I got to know the importance of mentoring. Because, mentors bring you other connects, networks, because not even a mentor, however evolved he is, however big he might be as a business tycoon, he can't bring everything to you. So he will bring your networks. So it's very important to collaborate, co-create. That's the way to go about. The future is all about collaboration, And I think that whole collaborative mindset and heart set can only make a difference to the planet today. And that's where design will evolve, and we become more collective designers, as Surya was just talking about. Collective design is the future. We need to see design from a more impact-based, kind of thing, and how much impact your work is creating. Today, most of the design schools, we have students churn out things. It creates waste, more and more waste of ideas. But are we really looking at things that can impact a certain class or a level? Yeah.
So hi, I have a question to Satish. So how well we are using UX for social policies? Like we understand how products are built, but how government is using UX and UI and all these things to build better products for people, to the people.
So for us, UI UX is not just pretty pictures, you know. So what happens is it's not just the designers, but there's a lot of team, like there'll be an anthropologist, sociologist who are actually partnering and collaborating on the projects. So, you know, classic example is all our vaccine delivery, what India did. There were a lot of other social sciences people who were involved in the UX part. And I think that is what has made our entire vaccine delivery extremely successful. So first lesson is collaborate, I think. And yes, I think there is a lot of future in this. And I mean, there is this notion saying that, oh, after school, during my time, it was only engineering or medicine. Or if you're going to BSc, you're a dud, you know, so that is how it was. But now the importance of social sciences really come up very well. And I think that's something which we should not neglect.
भवानी शंकर जी से।
देखिए, हमको रूट्स में जाना पड़ेगा। सबसे जो इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ है कि हमारे जो कल्चर है, हमारे जो हेरिटेज है और जो इंडियन एनवायरनमेंट है, जोग्राफिकल कंडीशंस हैं, वो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। सबसे ज़रूरी है कि बेसिक सेंसिटिविटी डेवलप करना, बच्चे के अंदर जो पोटेंशियलिटी है उसको ग्रो करना, इंडिविजुअल पोटेंशियलिटी। हम एक सिस्टम बना देते हैं, एक पैटर्न बनाते हैं जिससे कि सबको करना है, वो नहीं होना चाहिए। और इसका सबसे अच्छा एग्जांपल है कि विलेजेस में आप जाइए तो एस्थेटिक सुबह से शुरू होती है, मॉर्निंग से। चक्की पे आटा पीस रही है, गुनगुनाती है, गाती है, उस सब से फ्री होती है, मारने बनाती है। और मारने के अंदर जो इमेजेस हैं वो कहाँ से आती हैं? ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन करते हैं किस? अपने नेचर से। नेचर में जो भी उन्होंने एक्सपीरियंस किया है तो उसके प्रति वो कितने सेंसिटिव हैं, इन्वायरमेंट के प्रति, अपने जो कस्टम्स हैं उन सब के प्रति। तो रिलीजियस हो सकता है, नेचर से रिलेटेड सिंबल्स हो सकते हैं, और उनको कैसे ग्रो करते हैं। एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ कि उनको एक डिज़ाइन बनाना है, एक छोटा सा मांडना बनाना है, इतनी स्पेस है, उसमें को भी वो कवर कर सकता है और ये पूरी हॉल को भी कवर कर सकता है। तो ये उसकी पोटेंशियलिटी है कि वो किस तरह से उसको ग्रो। तो उनकी आप देखिए ना क्वालिटी, और उनकी कहना चाहिए एस्थेटिक सेंस, कि वो छोटी सी डिज़ाइन को ग्रो कर सकते हैं इस पूरे हॉल के अंदर, और परफेक्ट। आप उसका मांडने देखिए और उनका सारा सिस्टम समझिए। जैसे मान लीजिए एक हीड़ है, दिए का एक सिंपल फॉर्म है, उसको कैसे ग्रो करते हैं, और ग्रो होते होते वो जो बड़ा पेड़ हो जाता है, आपको ये नहीं पता पड़ेगा कि ये कहाँ से, जब तक कि आप उसका रिसर्च नहीं करेंगे। तो ये जो पोटेंशियलिटी है कि वो क्या है कि वो इथोस है, नेचर का इन्वायरमेंट जिसके अंदर वो रहते हैं, जिस सोसाइटी में रहते हैं, जो गाना गाते हैं, जो उनका कस्टम्स हैं, जो उनके रिलीजियस जो चीज़ें हैं, उन सब का इम्पोर्टेंट रोल था उसके अंदर। तो जब हम उन सब चीज़ों से हट रहे हैं, हम बाहर देख रहे हैं, कॉलोनियल जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम हुआ और अभी तक उससे हम हटे नहीं हैं। हिंदी बोलना है कि अंग्रेजी बोलना, मराठी बोलना है कि गुजराती बोलना, तो सब चाहते हैं कि अंग्रेजी में ही जाएं। तो ये ज़रूरी नहीं है। और ये अभी सबसे मज़ेदार बात है कि कंप्यूटर पे, मतलब ये अभी रिसर्चेज हो रही है कि जो संस्कृत की जो लिपि है वो सबसे बेस्ट है वर्ल्ड की जितनी भी लैंग्वेजेस हैं उनकी लिपि से, जो कि सक्सेसफुल हो सकती है सारी लैंग्वेजेस को मतलब कन्वर्ट करने में या उनको ग्रो करने में। तो ये सारी चीज़ें हैं कि जो हमारी इंडिविजुअलिटी जो है, जो देश का जो एक इस नेचर का, इस मिट्टी की जो गंध है उसको हम नहीं पहचान रहे हैं, हमारी जो नेचर है उसको नहीं समझ रहे हैं। और आप सीड डालिए तो सीड ग्रो करेगा, उसमें पल्लवित होंगे पत्ते निकलेंगे, पुष्पित होगा फूल निकलेगा, फलवित होगा फल निकलेगा।
बहुत सुंदर बात। भवानी शंकर सर जी डायरेक्टर रहे हैं ललित कला अकादमी के, बहुत सीनियर आर्टिस्ट हैं, और आप जो कह रहे हैं उनको मैंने इनका जीवंत रूप में देखा है। तो आपने बात बोली, बहुत सुंदर बात बोली है आपका। जो ये मैं यही इसी पॉइंट्स को वापस थोड़ा सा, आज क्योंकि सेशन क्लोज होने का टाइम आ गया है, कि पाश्चात्य संस्कृति में जब हम दूसरों को देखते हैं हमें लगता है कि वही एक तरीका है। शायद हमने क्या वेस्टर्न फिलॉसफी ने ये देखा कि एक दूसरा भी तरीका होता है, मतलब क्या हमारा तरीका भी तरीका हो सकता है? तो दैट टॉलरेंस टू अंडरस्टैंडिंग डिफरेंट कल्चर्स, बिहेव डिफरेंटली, आवर सेंसिबिलिटीज आर डिफरेंट। हाँ,
पहले एक लड़की का फ़ोन आया मेरे पास चेन्नई से। वो फिजिक्स में गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट, एमफिल किया हुआ है, रिसर्च उसकी पूरी होने वाली है, और उसने कहा कि मैं पेंटिंग करना चाहती हूँ। आप इमेजिन करिए। और वो उसकी चॉइस थी फिजिक्स पढ़ना, किसी ने उसको ज़बरदस्ती नहीं किया था। और फिर उसने अपने पेरेंट्स से बात की, तो उसके फादर ने भी एकेडमिशियन थे, तो उन्होंने कहा हाँ बेटा तुम करो। तो मैंने कहा भाई क्यों, तुम क्यों करना चाहती हो पेंटिंग? तो उसने कहा कि मैंने काफ़ी पढ़ा, लेकिन मुझे अभी ऐसा लग रहा है कि जो हमारे ट्रेडिशंस हैं, उन ट्रेडिशंस के जो कल्चरल रिचनेस है, आर्ट मतलब चाहे स्कल्पचर देखें, पेंटिंग देखें, क्राफ्ट देखें, उसमें तो मैं उन सबको सीखना चाहती हूँ और फिर क्रिएटिवली कुछ करना चाहती हूँ, मतलब टेक्निकल अकम्पलिशमेंट और देन आई वांट टू क्रिएट इट। तो आप इमेजिन करिए, तो बच्चों के अंदर पोटेंशियलिटी है, बट यू हैव टू ग्रो इट।
सर आपने ये बताया, स्टीव जॉब्स के लिए माना ही जाता है ना कि उसकी जो कैलीग्राफी की क्लास थी, उसकी वजह से ही आज आईफोन के अंदर में जो फॉन्ट्स है वगैरह की जो खूबसूरती है वो इस वजह से निकल के आई। तो आर्ट का बहुत बड़ी अहमियत है। नाउ बिकॉज द टाइम इज़ आउट, आई वांट टू एक्नॉलेज एवरीबडी फॉर हैविंग, वी कैन टॉक आउटसाइड ऑफ दिस स्पेस, हम कंटिन्यू रखेंगे ये कॉन्वर्सेशन। Thank you so much for being here for this session, and I want to thank Satish ji for coming all the way from Pune to be a part of the conversation at the Jaipur Literature Festival, and as a part of the Pink City Design Confluence, the Design Culture Initiative hosted by Arch College of Design and Business. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anita ji.
We have a memento here for you, yeah.